Welcome back to Life and Style Inspiration Thursday. Yet and I had a great time on Innovate. We are on to Motivate today, and today I have the honor of hosting one of my oldest friends. She's called Joan Samir. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And you know the reason you're here is that your story is quite moving.
Yep.
And on Motivate, we try to draw inspiration from your personal life, from what you do. And for you, it's a mix of your personal life and your career and how you had to change different careers to make ends meet. And the most interesting bit is that you've flourished in everything that life has hit you with.
Blessings from God.
Absolutely. So maybe you can just take us back. How did you grow up? What kind of life did you have then? And getting into your career, what you went to school for to date?
How I grew up, first of all. I would say like I'm an only child and my whole life was in like boarding school.
Yeah.
So kind of more, how do we put it? Like a soli what life? That one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the solitude life kind of.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of a person who keeps to herself more, but I think it's from how I grew up and all that. I grew up in different places, so I'm like that typical Kenyan. Even from my names, it's like I have names from everywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm a true Kenyan in short. I can acquit myself to some place, but not really. But most of my life, I grew up in Thika and in Uthiru, so those are the two places that my childhood more likely is at.
Okay.
And so after school, I studied photojournalism. And after like doing my photojournalism, I was so much into acting while I was in school. So I used to do plays for my school and all that, and also directing them. So I used to act in them and direct them.
Direct yourself.
Yeah, direct myself. And yeah, actually the best play I think went up to the provisional level that I directed, and yeah, that was something for me. So like when I came from school, everybody kind of knew that I'll be an actress. So when I joined acting back then at the theater, it wasn't like a surprise to anyone because it was like that's the road that she was meant to go.
Yeah.
And so later on, so I joined acting. So while I was acting, I was still in college doing my journalism and photojournalism classes. Then I went into TV after theater. So I did a bit of Makutano Junction and Tahidi High. And yeah, so after there, then my life kind of like took a twist to it.
Yeah.
So like what happened was while I was still at, I was doing both Makutano and Tahidi at the same time. So what happened is I got pregnant along the way, and I didn't even feel comfortable myself doing my roles because my roles I was cast as a teenage girl. So, and again, I was this, I wouldn't say more like holier than thou kind of, but no nonsense in one side, and the other side I was like this traditional conservative, those, you know, church girls kind of like thing.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have worked for me being pregnant in either of the two shows.
Of the two shows. So you had to lose your acting career then.
So I just decided, you know what, guys, it's okay. Yeah, maybe when I'm done, I'll come back.
Okay.
So I just cut my acting life just like that.
Did you ever go back?
I went back. I went back after I got my kid. I went back for like 2 or 3 months, and then I was like, I don't feel like it anymore. Like my confidence was lost. I didn't feel like the same person anymore. But I guess that came from the experience I had with my daughter and all that.
Okay.
So yeah, my confidence kind of got lost totally. And I felt like I was not fit being an actress. I don't know why, because it had been like my passion, and it had been like the dream of my life, the dream job of my life. Like this is what I knew that, like since I was a kid, I was like, yeah, I know I want to act, I want to act, I want to act. And the most depressing part was like, so I'm leaving acting for what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know what else to do because I've always been acting, that's it. I've never done anything else before that. But a friend of mine suggested, you know what, go try hospitality. I was like, I wouldn't know. So what she told me was like, you know what, hospitality is more like, it's more like acting, but in this way.
It is more like acting.
You're dealing with people,
yeah.
and like you kind of have to fake it till you make it. Because at times you're not in the mood of doing anything or like smiling and all that. So she told me, you know what, you've been an actress, so for you to come is easy for you, because it will be like, you know what, I'm not in the mood to smile, but you know what,
Here we go.
I can act it out. I'll be the happiest waitress you've ever seen.
So, what was it about having your daughter that made you feel like you didn't want to act anymore? Was it becoming a mother?
Actually, it was not about me becoming a mother,
Okay.
because the idea was exciting for me, because it happened around the time that I lost my mom. So me getting pregnant was like a blessing in disguise for me,
Yeah.
because I was like, I lost one angel, I'm going to get another angel, and you know, life will go on. And I was like, I was confident, like I'm going to be like the best mom ever and all that. Maybe me psyching myself up, but I
Yeah.
was really excited about the idea. So for me, at one point, it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm going to be a mom, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
But now when like I left my job, because clearly I couldn't continue acting.
You left it when you were pregnant. I mean, there's no way you can act as a teenager who's...
Yeah, and then now
Okay.
it had like started showing.
Yeah.
So I couldn't just keep on, because again, it was like mid-season for both of the shows. So there's no way again the script could change for me mid-season.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like I was at the top of my career at the moment. But I kind of felt, you know what, it's just a couple of months, I'm going to give birth, and then
I'll be back.
No, I'll be back, and it will be like nothing happened. So, you know, you just, at least they told me, we're not going to kill you. We're just going to say, oh, no, you know, she went somewhere, she went to college or something.
Yeah.
Because even in Makutano, I was a high school
Student.
student. So the thing is just to change it a bit and say, you know what, she's going to college, something, she's going to come back. For Tahiti, yeah, I could just disappear and reappear, something like that. So I knew everything will be okay after. So, but I think when I went home and then, you know, just because I quit when I was around 7 months, so that was like a lot of time for me,
Yeah.
to be seated home doing like totally a lot of nothing.
Yeah.
You know, you read all the books you can, you watch all the movies you can think of watching, but at times it's like it becomes tiring. And then I'm there. I used to live alone, so it was kind of like I'm just staying in the house alone. So what happened is, I think it's because of me being alone for so long, then I think you just start getting paranoid or something. So I used to lock myself up in my house, just like that, just lock everything up. So my neighbors, every time they would come and check on me, hey, what happened to her? We know that she's pregnant, so hey, what's up? Why don't you ever come out of your house or something? I'm like, no, I'm okay. You guys, you see me going to my clinics and all that, and I come back, I'm okay. If anything happens, I'll call you. So it was really a sad moment for me at that. Yes, I was excited, I'm going to be a mom, but then the loneliness was killing me in a way. And I think I kind of started becoming either more stressed or kind of like depressed in a way. But I was like, you know what, it's only for a moment, and then all this will be gone.
True.
Yeah. So when I was about to give birth, my grandma invited me to go stay with her. So I went to stay with my grandma for like, I was like, it's only 2 weeks. I'll just go give birth, come back. So I went, and when I went, so like there were complications in terms of, oh, your baby is not okay, she's not moving, all that. I was like, but the doctors kept encouraging me. They were like, you know what, don't worry.
Where was this? Where was your grandmother living?
So my grandmother used to live in Naivasha.
Okay.
So I went
You moved all the way?
Yeah, I literally just went all the way to Naivasha. And I was like, you know what, at least there's someone here. She's family. There's someone to talk to. Even if, just something. So I went, when I went to the hospital, so they told me, you know what, maybe your baby is post-due, but I'm like, no, there's nothing like that. I knew the day that I was supposed to give birth, so I think there's nothing wrong. But no, she wasn't really moving and all that. But they were like, it happens, so we're just going to induce you and all this will be done. So I gave birth to her. And at that moment, I was feeling like, oh my God, this is it, this is it, this is it. I'm going to just walk out. You know those stories you hear like, she went to the hospital yesterday night and...
She's back.
She's back. They're like, we're going to see the kid. Okay, fine. So I was like, it's tonight. Tomorrow by lunchtime, I'll be at home.
Yeah.
But it never happened like that for me. So I gave birth just normally. And what happened was when I gave birth to my daughter, she was not like breathing. So what the doctors decided was like, you know what, you can't see her for now and all that. For a moment there, I thought she was dead.
Whoa.
And the weirdest thing that I was thinking is like, really, for 9 months, and then you just had to die now.
I know.
I was so heartbroken at that moment. Like something snapped in me, totally snapped. And I would say, unfortunately, I haven't really been able to get back to who I was before then. Because something at that moment just, I felt like I went into a transit or something. Like something just totally snapped in me. Because one, I was so angry at myself, so I started asking myself questions like, what did I do wrong? What happened? I ate healthy, you know, I lived healthy. I
What
had
is your
no,
clinics?
you know, I had like the best pregnancy ever.
No complications.
Yeah, no complications. I was never sick, nothing. So I was like, really, what happened? Or I started blaming myself for her condition, but the doctor said, you know what, we'll put her on oxygen and all that. She'll be okay. I was like, are you sure? Sure. They were like, yeah, don't worry. So they just whisked her away from me. And I was like, no, I need to see her. I need to hold her. So I never held her. And then, like, after I gave birth to her, I never held her at all. So for me, it was like, really, this is how it's just going to end, just like that.
Yeah.
After all this. So I saw her 2 days later. I was not allowed to go visit her because she was too fragile to be seen. So any noise was affecting her, anything. So I went to see her 2 days later, and she was just there with all these pipes and all that, insulin, what? And I was like, oh my God, really, is this the life? Is this how we are starting life? Because, so for me, what happened was, I felt so sorry for myself and so sorry for her, and I blamed myself for her condition or the way she was. I kind of felt like there's something that I did wrong that led her to be how she was.
Okay.
So
did the doctors did you get any complications after that, or the doctors tell you what was wrong?
No, the doctors didn't tell me what was wrong with her.
Then?
Yeah, then.
Okay.
So for me, we stayed in hospital for like a month. So after I was told, oh, your baby is okay, take her home. I was like, are there any complications that are going to occur or she's okay? Oh, no, she's okay. You know, you take your kid home. I was like, sour. I took my kid home. But now, like when it's 3 months, 4 months down the line, I'm like, something is wrong here. How come she's not developing the way like other kids are?
do.
And so I took her to hospital, and they're like, no, you know, some kids just...
Even at 4 months?
Yeah, at 4 months, like, you know what, some kids take time. You know, you just go home, come back. So I went hopping from hospital to hospital, but nobody could actually tell me what it is that was wrong with her. So finally, when she was like around 9 months, it's when I was told that she has cerebral palsy. But I was like, how? And the doctors didn't tell me then. So they were like, something, it could have been avoided if they told you then, like not avoided totally, but it would have been much better if, like they told you then, she would have been in medication, and at least her development wouldn't be as it is right now.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I can't go back in time.
Yes.
Like, this is done. So what next?
How was it for you dealing with that? Did you even know what that is? Had you ever met anyone who had CP?
I think I had met people with CP, but I didn't know it
what
was
is
CP.
CP?
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't know it was CP. So I just started doing my research then. So
Google.
yeah, I Googled like everything that I could, tried as many possibilities of like what are the causes and all that, because I kept blaming myself the whole time.
Yeah.
So hers, from what I saw, it's like, it's a situation that you can't really put a finger to it of what causes it, really, because if then there's that, then there could be a cure for it.
Yeah.
So I was just told, you know what, there's no cure for this, but it can be maintained or it can be made better through therapy.
Okay. Here you are, you've lost your job.
Yeah.
You have a baby who has CP. But this time I'm sure whatever money you'd saved, 6 months down the line,
Yeah, it was like completely gone.
So how was it for you surviving, trying to get a job? A CP baby needs a lot of care.
Yeah, so first of all, I just went back to my little cocoon, and I was like, you know what, I never want to see the world again, because I felt like, you know how you meet your friends, the last time they saw you, you were pregnant, and then the next time it's like, oh, we heard you got a baby, so how is she doing? When can we see her? So for me, I felt like I didn't want those questions, because it
Then I
hurt
have
me
to
to
lie.
answer,
Yeah.
and every time I felt like I had to lie. Actually, I did lie a lot of times.
It's like, we're fine.
Yeah, she's good. Oh, how is she? Has she like started walking, crawling? I'm like,
Talking.
yeah, she's doing all that
Oh,
just to avoid
goodness.
like too many questions and all
Yeah.
that. And I remember at one point, a friend of mine like learned that my kid has CP, and what she asked me was, so now is the bundle of joy all that joyous? And I
Oh
was
my
like,
God.
okay.
That is mean.
That was really mean because she was like, now that she's sick, so
Oh
like
God.
you thought it's going to be, oh, happy, 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 but clearly it's taking you to hospital like every now and then. So I just kept quiet, walked away, and I was like, you know what? And this came from like a really close friend of mine,
Yeah.
and we used to work together, and it really hurt me. It hurt me so much that I was like, you know, these are the people, because I went back to acting
Acting.
because clearly I had no money left. I
Yeah.
had to get me some money, and, you know, we needed to survive. And her medication was really expensive. So I was like, I needed something to do. I went back to acting, and I didn't feel at home, but I really wanted to go back because this is like the only thing I've done all my life. I was at the peak of my career when I left. So it was like, oh, people had, like, I'd made my name already. So I was like, this, like, good jobs are coming my way and all that. But now I felt like this is not working for me at all. I don't have confidence at all.
Did you
I
follow
was
up on the
like,
hospitality job?
now the hospitality job now came then because I was like, I can't do this acting anymore. So the hospitality job, when now this other friend recommended me, I went in and I was like, okay, hospitality is good, you know. This is a place that I can hide, I can come, fake happiness and go back home, you know. But I went in and I felt like it's a place that I could hide myself because nobody knew me as much as people were like, hi, I think we've seen you on TV. Yeah, that was back then. Nowadays I don't act. And that story could just be done. And then here, nobody knew about like me, my past in terms of personal. So as much as maybe I could tell someone, oh, I have a kid,
That's
but
it.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have to explain to them and all that. Most of them learned about my kid. Like, I've worked with people that don't know even the condition of my kid. Because it's not like I don't like talking about it. I'll tell you, yes, I have a kid, but I don't like exploiting the fact that, oh, she has CP and all that. It's something that makes me emotional. So, yeah, I have a kid. She's this. She's like 80 years old. That's it. Full stop. We don't go deep. So later people are like, how come you didn't tell us? Like, what could have changed? Fine, I told you, but you know, for me it has
absolutely.
become, it's a normal kid for me.
Yeah.
So I don't see why the big deal is if I tell you like she has CP. Would you treat her different or me different?
And you're striving to make everybody see her as an equal. Like she's a
Yeah,
baby, she's a
and
baby girl, and
exactly.
she's just like any other baby.
She's just like any other
Living with
baby,
a
and then I
condition
don't
called
want like
CP.
the pity that comes with
Yeah.
it because I'm like, someone will be like, oh, how do you cope, Sijui Nini? No, I'm like, you know
You
what? No.
Joanne, we've talked about your lowest moments, and time is almost running out. But
Yeah.
following your life, you are at a point where you lost everything. You lost friends, you
Yeah.
lost your job, you started a new career that you knew nothing about, but you went ahead to get to the top of this career. And I want us to just show the world how, when you embrace what is given to you, how it can turn to be a blessing. And you just traveled to represent Kenya last year in Miami. Was it Miami, right?
Yeah, it was Miami.
In Miami. So tell
Yeah.
us about that. So you moved from being a waitress to being a mixologist.
Yeah. So hospitality, all that, I did waiting for like 3 months and I fell in love with the bar. So every time I kept pushing, I want to work at the bar, I want to work at the bar. I was told, no, are you sure? And all that. So finally, I got to work at the bar. And that's how I would say my other life started. Like, yeah, I was acting and all this. So my life took a complete turn. So I went into the bar. For me, I had like kind of to work extra hard to match up with the guys because in the industry back then it was like it's only guys who can do bartending. Chicks were not recognized and all that. So I felt like this is something that I can go into, and because I fell in love with it. And I felt like, you know what, if I put my mind to this and if I make it work, anything, it's about just going in and developing it. Like nothing is, I felt like nothing is so hard. And this is something that I was like, wow, I've fallen in love with this. I didn't ever think that there's any other career out there that was meant for me. So this is something that I'm actually enjoying doing. So I just went in and I kept pushing, working extra hard and all that. I started the competitions back in 2014.
What were the name of the competitions?
The competition that I went to first was the Absolute bartender competition. I did that in 2014. I just got to the finals, didn't really do that well, but I got to the finals. I was one of the finalists. Then in 2015, I did the World Class. I didn't get to the finals. Then 2016, I did the World Class again. So I got to the finals and I got to represent Kenya. I was crowned the best bartender in Kenya in 2016. So I went to represent Kenya in Miami. That's where the finals were. And it was a good experience for me, exposure and all that, and meeting all these like super bartenders and mixologists, so to speak. It was a great experience for me. And that has opened doors for me actually, because if I would say if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. Because currently I'm working for Bacardi Martini Kenya, so I'm the brand ambassador for Bacardi Martini Kenya, and if I'm not really wrong, I would say I'm like the first female brand ambassador in Kenya. So yeah, we have other brand ambassadors, but there's no female one. So yeah, it's a plus for me.
And you've been trotting the world.
Yeah, it comes with a package.
It comes with a package.
Yes.
So when you look back at the people who knew you before and knew you as a superstar on TV and in acting in theater, and what you're doing now and being a superstar, what you do, what do they have to say, and or how can you compare these two different worlds?
They kind of like have a relationship in a way, because either way you have to deal with people. It's entertainment all. Like you have to entertain people and you have to, like deal with people. What most of my friends tell me is like, you know what, maybe you're just meant to be a star. Because you're on this side and then you crossed, like you went something totally different and you're still shining at what you're doing. But I tell them it's passion and just putting your mind into something and really owning it. If you don't own something, it won't work for you. And then again, there's patience. I've been a bartender for 7 years, and now 7 years down the line is when things are happening for me. If I didn't have the patience, I wouldn't be where I am right now.
True.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter what life throws at you.
It doesn't matter what's life. Just embrace it and try not to take it really deep into your heart, because like, I think I took it too far in my case. But if I were to tell someone, if I would see like someone in such a situation, no matter like what they are going through, it's like, don't take it too serious. But, you know, people deal with issues differently. Yeah. But don't take it too much. Find a way to get yourself up and make something out of yourself. As much as, yes, you'll have those moments of, at the end of the day, you'll go back home. Maybe, for example, for me, I go back home, I look at my daughter, and I'm like, I wish things were different. But then again, I'm like, on this other side, I'm doing something that can change your life.
True.
Or can make your life much better. Yeah.
I've spoken to people living with CP on that same couch you're sitting, and the last one was called Maria. We met Maria way back when you took the 2015 cerebral palsy walk at Nyayo Stadium, and she came here and was telling me, Mikali, you know, CP is not a death sentence. Doesn't mean that you cannot continue with life. And she's now a fourth-year student at Nazarene University. And you're celebrating a few milestones that your daughter is taking. Maybe you can tell us about that as we come to the end of the show.
Yeah, for me, what she has achieved as of now is that, she's an 8-year-old, will go to places and people will be like, she can't walk, she can't, you know. But for me, I don't look at it like that because I've come to understand what CP is.
True.
So any small thing, like the other day, she was just feeding herself. And I'm like, oh my God, she can feed herself. She can actually just feed a whole bowl. She can feed herself like a whole bowl of food. that for me is an achievement. So for me, it's the little things. Like right now, she can take herself to the toilet. She can, as much as she can't sit on it, like she will go there and then she'll call someone and, you know, tell you that she wants to sit at the toilet. She can tell you that she's hungry and all that. So for me, these are milestones and they're achievements on her. And it shows that she can be able to take care of herself, which is the most important thing. Because in CP, in the therapy, what first they're taught is how to be able to be self-dependent. Self-dependent. And then now we go to the schooling part and all that, like books and all that. But if they can be self-dependent, I think that's the most important thing that you can give to anyone. Even for a person like me right now, if I'm not self-dependent and every time I have to be like, you know what, I need this, I need this, I need this. It's freedom, just being, you can be able to do whatever you think that you want, or you can ask for what you want.
Great.
Yeah.
We have to come to the end of the show. Can you imagine time just ran out like that? Probably final words of wisdom to people out there who are changing careers, or mothers with babies who have CP, or even people who are living with CP. What would you say to them? Probably looking into that camera.
What I'd like to say is that, say for someone who is undergoing like a career change or something, whatever you're changing into, at times it's not what you think that it will be, but take it in, embrace it, have passion and do as much as you can to develop that other talent that maybe you didn't know that you had, and now it has like given in to your life. And then to mothers of kids with CP, and especially I would say to mothers and also to single mothers, because personally I'm like a single mom. So what I would say is that you can as well pursue your dreams and in them incorporate your kids' dreams or what you want your kid to be and how to make her life better. It doesn't mean like, okay, now my kid has CP and I have to stay at home, I have to take care of her. Be happy. It doesn't, it's not like a death sentence or something.
Yeah,
explore all sides.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming into the show, Joanne.
Thank you.
Well, this has been Motivate. I hope you learned a thing or two, that it's not a death sentence. Whatever situation you're in, whatever life throws at you, you have the power and the ability to take it and change it to, you know, fulfill that dream that you had. So you need to live for now. Take it as it comes, one step at a time. You'll eventually, surely get to where you're going. We're taking a very short commercial break. When we come back, we have Catherine Mwangi on Books and Blogs and Restaurant of the Week.
I have my orange juice on that note. Yes. So you wanted like ugali and matumbo?
You get it.
For real?
Yeah.
Plantains?
Yeah.